It's looking a lot like fatigued metal. Anybody who's ever taken a piece of tin or something and worked it back and forth until it broke, that's metal fatigue. In a jetliner, we've got very sophisticated aluminum alloys, but when you take an airplane up to altitude, you inflate it just a little bit in order to be able to put a 9 pounds per square inch differential and keep a 5,000-foot cabin altitude in there so everybody can breathe without oxygen. Well, that literally does cause the skin to expand and contract in over 20, 30, 40,000 cycles up and down. If you don't have everything done just right, you can create cracks. Apparently, that's going to be the progenitor of this accident. This is not only highly unusual, but it's incredibly worrisome because after the near loss of an Aloha Airlines 737 in 1988, where we lost one flight attendant, Clarabelle Lansing, for Aloha, but they got the airplane back with most of the top of the front off of it, we thought that we'd pretty much gone back to school on metallurgy of aircraft structures and figured out how to do non-destructive inspection that was going to work fleet-wide. And I think for the most part, everybody has managed to do that. But this is a chink in the armor, possibly, and it may mean that we're going to have to go back to the drawing board about how to make sure that this sort of thing never happens again.
What do you read into a dozen or so, maybe more, Southwest 737s being flown up to Paine Field?
Well, I'm not sure whether they have just arrived there, but if they have, and if they're all 300s, then that's because there's a very excellent maintenance facility up there who can help do these inspections very rapidly. And what we want is not a cursory inspection, and I wouldn't expect that of Southwest anyway. We want a substantive inspection to make sure that if there was something missed, they find it before these birds get back in the air with passengers. The one thing you got to remember is that a jetliner has an explosive decompression only for so long as it takes for the air to escape out. Because once that happens, then you're simply flying a very sound airplane. And it's designed so that it won't rip past the next row of rivets. Now, in this case, it looks like it ripped along a row of rivets, although I haven't seen enough of a close-up. But the airplane's skin effectively performed exactly as it's designed to. If you're going to have a hole, it should stop and not go any further than that. The 1988 loss of the entire top of an Aloha Airlines jet was an extreme anomaly, which was a result of high corrosion. But in this instance, there's really no danger once that cabin depressurizes because the aircrew knows exactly what to do, and they did it almost in textbook fashion here in terms of an emergency descent. Anytime you've got a metal airplane carrying people, you've got the same propensity here. So Airbus, Boeing, everyone's going to be very interested in figuring out precisely what happened. Why could this not be caught in normal inspections, and what do we need to do in the future to make sure nothing like this ever occurs again? There's one thing that always happens because we're always a little bit paranoid about being in the back of an airplane and out of control. Even pilots like me have no control once you're sitting down. So when something happens, it's terror in the skies and it's a high dive and all this. But what I want everybody to understand is the hole was not normal and it was very worrisome, but everything else went according to the book. That's why aviation is so safe, because we prepare for even these outlandish things.